Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Make Our World Your Runway. You know, lights, camera, action. And this is the weekly show that interviews the most fascinating individuals from the world of modeling, fashion, beauty, business, and even the entertainment industry. And today, let me tell you, we've got a very, very special show planned. I'm saying it's jam-packed, okay? And you're going to love it. I have two amazing special ladies, one in the studio and one coming to us by Zoom from the Bahamas. It is going to be very exciting. But of course, as always, before we begin our show, we do want to thank the sponsors that make this show so possible. And that is the Global Trade Chamber, 100 Successful Women in Business, Carlos Abizo Photography, Lux Salon, Queen Beauty Network, the Tower Club, Royal Dames, and Vida Designs. So sponsors, once again, thank you so much for making the show possible every week. And we also want to tell our viewers, remember to subscribe to the Global Trade Chamber YouTube channel so that you can see all the shows from Make Our World Your Runway and Success Stories. And I also tell our viewers to highly tune in to Success Stories. I highly recommend that show because it features the most amazing women in the world from business and community service, from humble beginnings to successful entrepreneurs. These women will totally inspire you. And of course, get ready for some exciting conferences, speakers, and awards as 100 Successful Women in Business and the Global Trade Chamber come to a city near you. And the next city we're going to be coming to you is going to be Miami, Florida, and that is going to be in November. So we're calling all successful women in business because it's time to shine a light on your achievements. So nominate yourself or a colleague for a chance to be honored at the Special Awards Dinner Gala in Miami. And that is going to be November 4th, 5th, and 6th. So let's come together to honor the impactful women in business and community service. So remember to claim the well-deserved award, and you need to be present in Miami at the gala to receive your award. So nominate yourself or a colleague for the 2025 Reception Award Ceremony. There's also going to be networking, conferences, business expo, fashion show, and as always, Make Our World Your Runway will be going live. Now, for all that information, please visit the website at www.100swb.com for all the information. Now, these shows are definitely a sellout. I have been to these shows here, pretty much around the world. Women come in not only from the States, but from other countries. It is absolutely fabulous. This is a free event, but you must register now. And also, if you want to be an exhibitor or you want to be a speaker, there's information on the website for that as well. So once again, www.100swb.com for all the information, and we look forward to seeing you there. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on to our show. We happen to have a very special and wonderful woman with us here in the studio today. She was Assistant Deputy Mayor, was elected to the Sunrise Commission in 2020 and re-elected in 2022, becoming the first Puerto Rican woman elected in the city's history. She serves on national boards for the National League of Cities, including Hispanic Elected Officials, Women in Municipal Government, the Council on Youth, Education and Families, and the Race, Equity, and Leadership Council. Now, she was born and raised in Sunrise. Oh, she was born in Brooklyn and raised in Sunrise. Let me correct that. And she holds an associate's degree in healthcare from Las Vegas College and pursued studies in substance abuse and addictions counseling. And this last part I'm going to discuss with her in a moment, okay, because we definitely have something in common. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and my honor to welcome Commissioner Jacqueline A. Guzman to Make Our World Your Runway. Jacqueline, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Believe me, my pleasure and my honor. And as I said, we have something in common. I'm a one-time heart attack survivor, but you're a two-time.
Yes.
How did that happen, a two-time heart attack survivor?
You want me to tell you the whole story?
Oh, definitely, because I know my story, but two-time? Oh my gosh.
So in 2012, I was going to the gym at least 3 times a week. And one day I was getting off the elliptical machine, walking out the gym, and both my arms just felt super weak. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was from being on the elliptical machine.
Exactly.
So I went about my business, and literally a week later is when I woke up, was in the shower, shampooing my hair, And again, both my arms just dropped.
Wow.
I felt tightening and pain in my teeth, my jaw, down my carotid. And I'm stretching in the shower, thinking, what is going on?
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, I couldn't even move my arm, so I got out, sat on the bed, in disbelief of what I was experiencing. And my 2-year-old daughter at the time says to me, Mommy, are you okay? And I said, Mama, I'm okay. Just get ready for preschool, right? And so I'm sitting on the bed just confused, and all the symptoms started to come. So back pain, tightening, dull, the tingling, the sweating, everything. And again, single mom, my 4-year-old and 2-year-old getting ready for preschool. I drove them to work, drove them to preschool, came back home, called out of work, and I laid on my couch, then on my floor for hours, just trying to relieve some pressure from my back.
Yeah.
Finally, after about 4 hours, I couldn't breathe, and I went to the ER.
That's it.
And ironically, they did an EKG, it was normal. My blood work was normal.
Wow.
I really couldn't speak and say all the symptoms I just told you.
Right.
Except I couldn't breathe. And so after a few hours in the hospital waiting for who knows what, finally the director of the emergency room came in and asked the right questions. Did I have jaw pain, neck pain? And that's when I said yes. So they kept me for overnight for observation. And about 5 o'clock in the morning, I woke up to an entire cardiac team signing over my signature to do a procedure. And sure enough, they found 99% blockage in my main artery, the LAD.
The LAD, that's the one where I had a
So,
blockage. Yeah.
and then I was partially under, so I heard the doctors talking.
Same thing.
And I remember hearing the doctor saying, we need her to wake up. She needs to contact her family. And so sure enough, I called my sister, who had my 2 kids at the time. And they allowed my sister 20 minutes to get to the hospital to basically say goodbye to me, because they didn't think I was going to make it.
Wow.
So they didn't tell me exactly what was going on. I just knew something serious was going on with my heart. My sister came in. I said, Belinda, I need you to promise me you're going to take custody of my children.
Right.
And till this day, almost 14 years later, I still get emotional thinking about it.
Yeah.
And so now my son is 17. He was 4 at the time. My daughter is 15. She was 2 at the time.
Wow.
And now I have a 3rd child. He's going to be 11. But when I was pregnant with him, they told me to abort him because there wasn't much research of a young woman having heart attacks.
Yeah, no, you're very right, okay? And one of the things that I have discovered, okay, and I just said this to my husband again this morning, I said, there are a lot of great doctors out there. Now, luckily for me, a lot of the doctors I've had have recognized symptoms, but they don't, sometimes, that's why there's so many women doctors out there. They don't totally understand a woman's body, because when a woman is going through menopause, a lot of these things can happen. Women will get heart attacks and strokes during menopause, and they try to treat a woman's body just like they did a man's. You cannot. It's 2 different anatomies, okay? And even some of the things I'm going through myself right now, I say the menopause is also, okay, adding to what is happening. You get a bad hot flash, you feel like you're going to pass out because all of a sudden that sugar and everything drops, okay? Now, did they do open heart on you, or was it stents?
So they placed a stent. They put the balloon pump in my heart, and thankfully the stent was placed. And I was in ICU for a week. And I remember leaving ICU, I was walking out with my mom, and I saw the ER doctor, Dr. Isaacson from Florida Medical Center. And I said to him, Doctor, I just want to thank you for saving my life. And he didn't know exactly all the extent of what I had experienced, because once he admitted me, you know, I'm out of his care.
You're out of his care, yeah.
And sure enough, I explained to him what I just told you about the 99% blockage, and he was blown away. He asked me to speak with the, I believe it was the CEO or CFO at the time, and she happened to be the chair of the American Heart Association. And so she asked me to please come with her to some of the panels and meetings to share my story. And for several years, I was with the American Heart as a local spokesperson, volunteering my time and helping other women with heart disease.
No, that was excellent. It was funny, when I had my heart attack, we were on our way up to Disney World.
Okay.
And my husband had said to me that day, if you're not feeling well, stay home. I said, nah, okay. And I wasn't, I had gone to, well, my cardiologist was on vacation, and I couldn't get in to see the other cardiologist. And I had this pain right here, but it was more up in this area.
Yeah.
So I said, they didn't know if it was stomach or heart. Okay, and I've had prolapsed mitral valve for years,
Okay.
all right, and I was on Clogard. So we get in the car, and we get halfway up the turnpike, and I said to my husband, I said, stop the car, I need to get out and compose myself.
Wow.
So I got out, I walked around, I got back in the car, I said, okay. I don't think we were half a mile up the road. I said, I need an ambulance.
Wow.
I looked him straight in the eye, and he said, I think you do. He stopped the car, and he said, do you know where we are? Now, it's funny, under all of that, I said, mile marker 131. Yeah. Okay, I always go put flowers there every 4th. Now, this is on 4th of July.
Okay.
I'm bringing in 4th of July with a bang. My husband called 911. No sooner he did that, the cop was almost in our trunk.
Wow.
This police officer, when I have to say, I go visit him all the time. He was fabulous. He got the paramedics there so fast, and they started working on it. From here to where that camera was, that's how close the hospital was. It was Palm Beach Gardens Medical Center, which is the heart hospital in the east coast of Florida. When I got in there, they started working on me, and they said, no, you've had a heart attack, which I had figured. And they got me up, and I was in that twilight, and it was that LED that was blocked. And the doctor put one stent in, but he didn't go far enough, to the artery. So when he put the other two in, bingo, it opened up.
Wow.
But he told my husband, he said, had you waited a half hour more, she would have been gone. But the police officer was so nice, he came into the emergency room and he said, no one dies on my watch.
Aww.
What a wonderful, wonderful
Wow.
man. I said, that's what you call a police officer. You know, police officers get so many bad raps today. That's a man who took his job seriously. So it took me about 90 days to know that I was still going. And I was afraid to put one foot in front of the other. But then all of a sudden, I just kind of bounced back, okay?
Wow.
And I would say within a month's time, I was actually at an event trying to dance, which was good. And the cardiologist that I have today, he said to me, can I ask you what your secret is? I said, depends on what you're referring to. He said, I have a lot of people come in that have been in the same situation as you. He said, now, he keeps checking me because my stents are from 2007, so they can get old, and sometimes they have to go in and... He said, this last test he did on me, I don't want to talk too loud. He said, if I did not know that you had stents or you had a heart attack, I'd never know there was anything wrong.
Sure.
He said, those stents are still going. Your heart relaxes when it's supposed to. The rhythm is fine, except for a few heart palpitations that I get from every now and then. But he said, I said, oh, that's what you mean about the secret. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I don't think about it. It's back there. I go forward.
Yeah.
Okay? I said, look, I know what's there. I know what I can and cannot do. And I know the warning signs. I had something a few months ago. I went to him. He says, no. He said, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
He said, I'll keep my eye on it. So I said to him, I just get up every morning and go about my business and say, okay, next. He said, I wish I had more people like you. He said, because I've got people, he said, from 2007 till now, the technology's even better.
Sure.
He said, and they don't even want to get out of bed. I said, oh, no, that's not me.
No.
I said, I'd have another heart attack if I didn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
So,
you know, with me, 3 kids, and then obviously now I'm a commissioner. I'm very active. And for years, I want to say almost a little over 10 years now, I've been doing Go Red fashion shows, trying to promote heart health awareness.
That's perfect.
In the beginning, it was with the American Heart Association, but most recently, we do fundraising for Heart Sisters, which is a local organization here. And it focuses mainly on minority women because, based on research, a lot of the minority women have higher rates of having heart disease.
Yes. In fact, I've worked with the American Heart Association. This year with the pageant, we always take a different charity. We're doing the Royal Dames. And the Royal Dames, every dollar they raise goes towards cancer research. But they've also worked with the American Heart Association because we had Carol Nugent on the show a few months back. She's the president of Royal Dames, and she said, that's the 3 words you don't want to hear. I have cancer. She said, but when these women start going through treatment, the heart can weaken. And we've seen a lot of women have heart attacks. So they do partner with that. And I said, well, that is a wonderful thing. I said, because, and like I said before, so many women, and it happened to me, my heart attack happened when I started to go through menopause, because that estrogen and progesterone dropped. Now, my mother, God bless her soul, who lived to 94, okay, her doctor was smart. He would give her a shot once a month, a little estrogen and progesterone, not a lot. And I think that's what kept her going until she was 94. She went through her changes with no problem at all. She had to have a hysterectomy when she was very young. But, I mean, he was somebody at 93 scrubbing floors. And I said, Ma, get off your knees. No, okay. But I was just telling them in the hospital 2 weeks ago, I said, here was a woman at 94, no cancer, no heart problem, was not a diabetic, and even had her own teeth.
Wow.
At that age, you know, I mean, I got bottom dent. She had all her own teeth. And I'm like, you know.
94, wow.
94. My fault when they said she needed rehab and I got her into a nursing home. That was the mistake.
Oh.
I should have just kept her home, and that was it. Because in 11 weeks, a woman that was so vibrant that walked into that nursing home, in 11 weeks was gone.
Wild.
And I was like, she had to have a hernia operation. She went through it with no problem. She was even on the phone the following day. That's a mistake, a mistake. I will never do that again. So, but go to 94, I'm like, I hope I got those genes, because I said, Ma, I might even beat you this time. But no, she was something else. But I give you a lot of credit for all the things you've done. Okay, you're an advocate for youth, women's empowerment, small business development. You're a commissioner. How do you now I'm going to ask you, what's your secret? How do you balance it all?
You know, I think it's the support. My mom's a great supporter. My children are very understanding. They know my passion. They know I love helping and giving, whether it's for them, friends, the community, strangers. It's just something I've always been about, and it's natural for them to see me what I do.
Yeah, exactly. My mother was the same way. When I had my heart attack, oh my God, they flew from New Jersey down here, and they stayed with us for about 2-3 weeks. And my dad had plenty of medical problems, but he was a fighter. My father went to 85. He was a fighter. If it wasn't for cancer at the end, my father would have been about 100 years old. He'd still been around, okay? But you have to have the support. You know, and going back, it's so funny because I said to my husband, because I even had a full hip operation, and I said to my husband, I said, you'll never have anything wrong with you. He said, don't laugh. He says, I'm going to have my heart attack at McDonald's. Well, sure enough, I had my hip operated in 2015. 2016, he had to have open heart surgery.
Oh, wow.
Okay? And when they went in, he had to have a quadruple bypass, and his aorta valve was damaged.
Oh, no.
So while he was on the table, they had to make a decision. Do they repair it or do they replace? Well, they had to replace it.
Wow.
So they made a joke about it. He says, well, you're kosher now, you got a calf's valve. The doctor made a joke. But he was in the VA hospital. They took excellent care of him. And if he walked in here now, you'd never know it.
Yeah, I've met your husband before.
That's right, yeah. We call him Big Al. You know, but, you know, he follows what he's supposed to do. You know, he's lost his weight, which was great. And the only thing I keep telling him on a daily basis, please stay away from Taco Bell. You do not need those arteries. But he goes and has his big checkup every year, and he's doing fantastic. But, you know, there again, you have a story, I do, and he does. We are survivors.
Yes.
A lot of people are not that lucky.
Yeah, you know, my mom, in 92 and 1995, she had 2 erupt brain tumors. So I had seen her basically as a vegetable in the hospital as a kid. And so fast forward, here I am going through my heart stuff. I have 2 young children at the time. And so fast forward now, I have 5 cysts, and people don't know this. I currently have 5 cysts in the right lobe of my brain, and the doctors have it clustered. And some say do biopsy, some say don't do the biopsy because it may trigger something.
Yes.
So, you know, by the grace of God, I'm still here and I'm still going.
I say the same thing. Boy, we have a lot in common because my father had major brain surgery in 1970 when they weren't even thinking of it. Now, back then, Hackensack Hospital in Bergen County had such a reputation. They used to work with the hospitals in New York City. Dr. Jules Ladenheim, when he heard the condition of my father, he was operating in Connecticut. He got a police escort to take him all the way into Hackensack. My father, and they didn't have CAT scans or MRIs at the time. They had to go in, and when they went in, they injected the dye where they raised, okay, your scalp. And that is a horrible test, okay? He came back and they told my mother and I, he has a blood clot the size of 2 grapefruits. It actually lifted and pushed the brain on the left side. Dr. Ladenheim told my mother, he said, I don't know if I can save him, but I am going to do my best. Wow. So my mother signed for everything because he needed the tracheotomy because it was brain surgery. And he said the first 72 hours are very crucial. He said, you may see his face swell and everything. That's common with that. On that Sunday, I was in church. And my father's brother went to see him. And my father opened his eyes and he said, hi, Larry, because they didn't think he would even talk. And his brother had a bad heart. The nurses had to come in there to get him. He called my mother. My mother came and got me in church. Now, that week there, I was in the a cappella choir, and I had to do a solo. And 17 years old, I had to make a tough decision. They told me that night my father was really bad. Wow. And I was due to get a scholarship, and there was people from Broadway sitting in the audience. And I said, do I sing? Do I not sing? Because I'm like from here. Here was Hackensack High School. There was the Hackensack Hospital. So I made a decision to go out and perform. Till this day, it's probably the best decision I ever did. Wow. That Sunday, my father opened his eyes. He said to my mother, did she sing? Oh. That was it. Oh, wow. That was that story. From that point on, my father progressed. And my mother's brother said to me, you made the right decision. And I looked at him, I said, what do you mean, Uncle Tony? He said, because if anything would have happened to your father, that's what he wanted. And I said, that was a tough decision. I said, 17 years old. Wow. But my father was a fighter. He came back. In a year's time, he was driving his car. He got full speech back. Wow. He walked. He even got he worked for public service, electric and gas for 25 years. They did retire him because they figured, that was, but he went out and got a part-time job. I was like, I don't believe this. So we have a line in common, yeah. And my father, and then he had open heart surgery years later. And he did terrific with that. He comes out of open heart surgery and says, I'm hungry. The nurses just look, what do you mean I'm hungry. I mean, this man he had no fear. He never gave up. And like I said, if it wasn't for cancer, and even with the cancer, he was in remission for 13 years. So,
you just reminded me, when I woke up from my procedure, when I got the stent placed, I had 2 things I asked the doctor. Was 1, when can I go back to the gym?
I did that too.
And then 2, when can I go back to work?
I did that as well.
And they say that the heart attack was caused due to stress.
Yes, mine was due to stress. Yeah.
But I would have never known because I don't have any really big heart disease in the family. So
no, see, I was caught. My entire family, my mother's mother, my grandmother, she died at 59. My grandfather, the only reason why he had a bad heart, okay, is because he was in World War I and he got shell-shocked. And he was actually left for dead on the battlefield. And if it wasn't for that, he would have not had a bad heart. But my grandmother did, all my uncles, my aunts, the entire family, even my cousins all have heart disease. So I kind of got caught in the shuffle, and they say that is hereditary. Yes. Yeah, it is hereditary.
I've had all my kids checked. They play sports, so I'm always keeping an eye on them. Scary.
Yeah, now I'm fighting the kidney stone thing, and I go to find out from my cousin. Yeah, she said, thank the family for that too. I said, wait a minute. She said, oh, yeah, that's hereditary. I don't believe this. I said, I don't believe this. I said, from the heart to the stomachs to the kidney. Yeah. So I said, okay. I said, they were all up there looking down and saying, better you than me, because I'm out of it. Yeah. But, but I have to say the technology today is unbelievable. I was reading, it was last year, one of the astronauts in the space station got a blood clot in the leg.
Oh, wow. While he was in space?
Yeah. From down here to up there, they dissolved the clot. I said, well, look, if they can do that, why can't they?
Interesting.
I said, why can't we get the same attention?
Yeah.
They actually dissolved. I was talking to my cardiologist. He said, oh, yeah. They dissolved the blood clot from down here up there. I said,
Wow.
it says something about outer space. Well, you know, the MRI came out of outer space.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. That's why President Kennedy had such a push to go to outer space, because he knew that there were things up there that could benefit us here.
Yeah.
And so, well, I'm getting the signal. We have about 5 minutes left. But anyway, you are doing some wonderful things in the city of Sunrise.
Thank you.
Okay. And I know you've worked with Melina.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
Yes.
And, you know, and I've worked with Melina. I've worked with Tito Puente Jr.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. And his dad, I knew his dad from New York. In fact, the quick story about his dad is I was trying to get in to see one of his shows one night, and they said they were sold out. And his father's coming out of the back door stage, and he says, "They're with me, let them in." And I said, "Thank you, Mr. Puente." He said, "Call me Dad." And I called this until his father died. I called him Dad. So even when I talked to Tito. But just to tell our viewers, because we've got a couple of minutes, what's next on the horizon for Sunrise?
What's next on the horizon? Well, given my background in healthcare, one of the things I was adamant about when I first came into office was pushing for healthcare, hospitals. Given that Sunrise has about a little over 100,000 in population, plus we have the Panther Stadium, the Sawgrass Mills Mall.
Yes.
I was surprised we didn't have a hospital. So fast forward, I'm happy to have been one of the commissioners to support amongst my colleagues. We will have Broward Health coming into Sunrise in partnership with Joe DiMaggio Children's Hospital, and Baptist Health will have their very first full hospital here in Broward County, and all of this is happening right now.
That is excellent. As a matter of fact, I definitely want to be an advocate up in my neck of the woods, or even for the whole state of Florida, for health care. I don't know if you're familiar with Dave Arenberg. He used to be the Palm Beach state attorney. He didn't run this last time because he had 12 years, and he just wrote a book, which pretty much encompasses this. He's going to be on the show shortly, and he said, if you want to do something like that, he said, let me know. So, but anyway, this is great information that you gave today. We're so proud of you. I mean, even in Palm Beach County, we follow you. So anyway, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on the show. I know we're going to see you in November, where you'll be getting the award, well-deserved, for 100 Successful Women in Business. I got it going back in 2019. It is an honor to have that award. It does open doors. But anyway, thank you again.
Thank you. If I can share where anyone can follow me, on Instagram and Facebook is Commissioner Jacqueline Guzman, and that's Guzman.
Yes, absolutely. And viewers, make sure you do follow her. I mean, she's got a lot of great information. I do it all the time as well. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for tuning in to Make Our World Your Runway. I hope you enjoyed our show today. And stay tuned, because as always, we have another impactful show that's coming to you very soon. So once again, thank you, and we'll see you soon.